Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw News Brief. We're going to try to keep this one brief today, but there's a lot going on, including
there is a lot going on.
Some major opening news. New Japan, WWE working together. What's going on here?
I don't know. The Wrestling Observer himself, though, Dave Meltzer, dropped quite a bombshell in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter. You alluded to it. Here it is. WWE and New Japan are apparently talking about a partnership. Meltzer is reporting that Nick Khan has been in talks with New Japan since March or early April about WWE becoming New Japan's exclusive U.S. partner. Meltzer notes that he has no idea where the discussions are at currently, but if a deal is struck, it would, quote, include WWE sending talent and WWE top stars being allowed to work in New Japan. Meltzer adds that, quote, with Khan, the former isolationist attitude of WWE versus everyone is changing with the idea WWE is part of the wrestling landscape and not separate from the pro wrestling landscape. Meltzer also adds, of course, a lot of this has to do with AEW opening the forbidden door, working with other promotions. And I'm sure a lot of this is, well, if we could, as we, WWE, can swoop in, get a partnership with New Japan for ourselves, that keeps that partnership happening with AEW. It potentially inhibits the growth on an international scale of this upstart promotion who is competition for us. Instead, we get the benefits of such a partnership.
It's going to be a very interesting thing, obviously, to see how it plays out. It seems like it'd be kind of obvious that, you know, this Nick Khan guy, apparently he's got some sort of magic potion because things that never would have happened before seem to be happening now. I mean, for better and worse. I mean, you know, no doubt his time with the WWE might have resulted in all those layoffs we saw just this past week. You know, a reorganization of the company, how they do things, even from a production standpoint, broadcast standpoint, a digital media standpoint. Yeah. But then you have stuff like this. You know, there was previously, you know, rumored talks of WWE and MLW. So, it's a different way of approaching a similar philosophy from like the 80s when Vince was snapping up all the territories. It's like, well, I'm going to make sure nobody else is going to go national because I'm going to go national. Like it's going to be my thing. So I'm going to run everybody out of business. And so, you know, this idea that, okay, well, AEW's, you know, one of their biggest strengths right now is, of course, the Forbidden Door. It's like, hey, we're going to make it look like everybody in the wrestling world is one big, you know, unit, and we're all collaborating and making things really exciting for the fans. And WWE's like, well, hold on a second. Like, we really need to, you know, seemingly this Khan fella is making Vince rethink these things. If it is, hey, you know, an AEW New Japan partnership could be a huge, you know, benefit to AEW's North American market share. Then, you know, it'd be absolutely mind-blowing to do something that we had never considered doing before. I mean, that'd really blow the doors open for fans to take another look at the WWE, which is a smart business move. We'll see where it goes. I mean, if it's anything like how New Japan, AEW, and Impact have approached things up until this point, you know, I'm not sure it's going to be like, you know, Roman Reigns versus Okada anytime soon, but it might be a couple of New Japan tag teams coming over to Raw and participating in the Raw tag team division, and vice versa. You know, maybe some cruiserweights going over to New Japan for the junior division. You know, maybe it'll focus on NXT, where Vince might feel, hey, you know, it's not my main roster stuff, and it's the stuff that the more hardcore fans are into, and maybe that's where I want to play this out. Maybe this is where I want the battlefield to go. Now that we had to retreat onto Tuesdays, they use NXT, so they use Finn Balor, who obviously has history there.
Yes,
and you maybe you can get a cross versus whoever New Japan, the IWGP champion's going to be. Maybe you can do that.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, that's possible. I guess from the other side of it, New Japan, they've had the last year and a half for them has been a bit rough. Obviously dealing with pandemic issues, you know, and that's going to preclude any heavy talent exchange, you would think. And then creatively, seemingly some missteps over the last year and a half. the whole thing about putting the belts on Evil hasn't really worked out that well for the benefit of the company. Evil was just a King of Pro Wrestling program with Yano.
Yeah, that was weird.
Less than a year after holding both those titles. So, if New Japan thinks, okay, we hit a bit of a rough patch. What can we do to give the company a bit of a shot in the arm? In terms of generating a lot of buzz, AEW will go a long way. But in terms of getting out there in more mainstream discussions, WWE is they're the Kleenex, the Xerox of wrestling. They're the name brand still. And so if they want to go the course of, we want to try to get a larger spotlight or a company worldwide, I mean, creatively, it might not be the best option, but in terms of growth of one's business, assuming they don't have, there's not a clause in the deal like WWE had with the promotions in the United Kingdom.
Yeah,
you could see the potential benefit for New Japan.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and you got to think on both levels. It's kind of like what Bischoff said in that Collision in Korea episode of Dark Side of the Ring. It's like, well, we want, I don't see any downside to it, because it's not like New Japan has a presence here in the States, certainly not to the degree they had in 2018 or 2017 prior to AEW. I mean, let's be honest. AEW basically ran New Japan back out of the United States. I know COVID, I don't know where things would be, if we didn't have COVID, but, you had basically New Japan's United States front, the Elite, as their front line there here in the States. And they all disappeared. They all went to AEW. So that's they basically decimated. Now they got Strong, which is great, but it's not, I don't believe, what New Japan had originally envisioned for their, stateside invasion, expansion, if you will. And so it's just sort of, growing the global brand of New Japan, but it's not like WWE has to worry about them taking over a North American market share. They do have to worry about AEW's continued growth. I don't know. This would be great for both sides. It'd certainly liven up WWE's product. It'd freshen it up. Hopefully Nick Khan can use whatever sway he has to help creative on Raw. I mean, it's. I know SmackDown is basically their flagship show now, and it's a pretty decent show. But it's like you always think that this is supposed to be your flagship show, Monday Night Raw. That's supposed to be the one. It's a 3-hour show.
Yeah, it's the longest running weekly show in TV or something.
And that's sort of, honestly, that's sort of the stench right now of WWE is like, why is their main show crap? Why is it so impossible to watch? And it shouldn't be that way. You should have exciting creative across all your brands, and who knows, maybe this.
And then you look at that, the Raw rating is a testament to the fact that the creative is not good. It's not good. It's not good.
And they can try it. They can try to make it.
All the points that people feel like they need to see, guess what? They can watch on YouTube. They don't have to sit through 3 hours of it.
Yeah, exactly. There's like a million, and I understand that's sort of the point of what Nick Khan has said in the previous earnings calls. Well, the ratings are down, but people are watching in all sorts of different ways. It's like, yeah, dude, but come on, you could be pulling 3 million still. You could, if it was must-watch TV, people will still tune in live to get it first, because they'll crave that content, and they won't be content just to sit on YouTube and watch clips or
watch it either later that night or the next day. If it's something people really want to watch, they want to watch it live and then start tweeting about it.
And it builds a community around that thing. Yep. People like doing that stuff.
Yep. Before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, BetterHelp. Several years ago, while dealing with severe anxiety, I learned the importance of talking to a therapist, but also discovered that it could be extremely difficult to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp is providing a safe and private online environment where your needs will be assessed and you'll be matched with your own licensed personal therapist.
BetterHelp is not a crisis line, nor is it self-help. It's professional counseling done securely online, all without having to ever sit in another uncomfortable waiting room.
BetterHelp is dedicated to facilitating great therapeutic matches. Send your counselor messages at any time or schedule regular weekly phone or video sessions. They've made it free and easy to change therapists if needed.
And you don't have to limit yourself to counselors in your area. BetterHelp services are available worldwide, so you can find the expertise you need regardless of location.
We want you to start living a happier life today. As a Going In Raw listener, you'll get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/raw. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health.
Again, that's BetterHelp, HELP.com/raw.
Let's talk about, I feel like we spent the last 2 weeks almost talking exclusively about SummerSlam, but we could put one aspect of it to rest because we got a date.
We know when.
It's official.
We know when.
We know when. So after weeks of rumors and speculation, WWE finally announced that SummerSlam will be happening on Saturday, August 21st. But they didn't say from where. But their promotion did announce that they'll be revealing this year's host city during the pre-race show for the Belmont Stakes on Saturday, June 5th. So I first read Belmont Stakes. I was like, all right, where is that? It's in New York. I thought maybe that would be a hit. But let's keep going here.
Okay.
WWE also announced 21 additional live events scheduled through Labor Day weekend. And that schedule could give us an indication where SummerSlam might be.
Okay.
So I don't know if you got an atlas or a map ready, Steve.
Yeah, I got one right here.
Good. So Smackdown before SummerSlam will air from Phoenix, Arizona on August 20th. So that's in Arizona.
Okay, I had Arizona right here.
And then the Raw after SummerSlam will air from San Diego, California. That's Monday, August 23rd. Now, there is a live event the Sunday after SummerSlam scheduled from Denver.
What? Wait, they're going to go from SmackDown to mystery location.
For SummerSlam, yes.
To Denver.
And then to San Diego.
And then to San Diego. So if you triangulate from Phoenix to mystery location, I mean, I'll be honest with you, like, it's entirely possible they go to Phoenix, they head up to Denver, on the way back down to San Diego, to in between San Diego and Denver is the Orangevale Community Center across the street from my house.
That's way out of the way. That's way out of the way.
From hold on a second. From Denver to San Diego, the midway point is probably close to like, NorCal is kind of. That's kind of right there.
Here's the thing, though. Is you gotta. I feel like the Denver thing is a bit of an outlier. They'll fly it, or some people who run on the SummerSlam card will probably carry that Denver show, because to have talent drive from Phoenix to mystery location for SummerSlam, then to Denver, and then go from Denver to San Diego. You can't drive that in a day. That's a flight,
It's either going to be Vegas or Los Angeles. And I think they know it's either going to be Vegas or Los Angeles. They're probably putting the final touches on exactly where it's going to be like next week.
Currently, exactly, which is why they haven't announced. They haven't made any decision, evidently, about where it's going to be. They just know when it's going to be. Sean Ross Sapp spoke to that, tweeted out today, quote, "I've spoken with WWE higher-ups who have referred to the Sports Business Journal article that indicated a lot of venues are still on the table for SummerSlam, but it seems like it's kind of focused on the West Coast or the western part of the United States. So if it seems like locking down a date and location for this year's SummerSlam has been a bit of a mess, the WrestleVotes reporting that is in fact the case. This is what WrestleVotes tweeted out today, quote, "There is so much wildness to this year's SummerSlam regarding date, location, and planning that's yet to leak out. I'm certainly not going to do it because, quite honestly, it's a disaster, and I don't need that blood on my hands, especially if Vegas doesn't end up happening."
Very descriptive. Yeah, so I guess it's just sit back, relax, and at the very latest, we'll find out when the ponies go at it at the Belmont Stakes.
I guess so, or before. But I guess here, maybe the thing, too, is here in California, middle of June, we're supposed to be reopening. It's like everything. Like I just saw the local minor league baseball stadium here. I believe I got an email from saying on the middle of June, full capacity. Everything's opening back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know if, in terms of maybe having SummerSlam in LA at SoFi Stadium, if they're waiting to see how certain aspects of that progress. I mean, obviously they're not going to wait till June 15th, but maybe in terms of dealing with stuff with the city. Nevada, I don't know where they are exactly with the reopening.
Vegas, I saw a thing that said Vegas is like
I would imagine further along than California is.
Vegas is touting you can go inside casinos without masks, and the vaccination policy is the honor policy, which means it's
further along in California.
It's the Wild West. But no, here's the thing. Like, realistically, everything's going to be full capacity at that point. I mean, they're not going to wait till June for their.
No. I'm not suggesting they would wait till the middle of June to announce if they're waiting for LA. I'm just saying different states are further along in terms of the reopening process.
Yeah,
and if they're holding out for a venue, they're waiting to get probably the green light on certain things from certain municipalities. Potentially, I'm just trying to find an explanation why they would wait on these things. If you think you want maximum impact, sorry, let's get this point in. You want maximum impact. You announce date, place.
Yeah. I don't know what the. I mean, the only thing that we've heard in terms of like what the holdup is the Pacquiao fight, right? Isn't that like
that's
the
just
main
for
thing?
Vegas? But if it's the 21st, that's the same day as the fight.
Yeah. So like, I don't know. I don't know.
And it's I don't know how much influence that fight in Vegas is going to have on their decision making plans. Maybe it was Las Vegas until that fight was confirmed that weekend, and then they were like, "Oh, we might have to go back to the drawing board." I don't know.
Yeah, it's entirely possible to read into this too, that there might be infighting within WWE in terms of because the two philosophies are pretty. It's like, no, we should do it. Well, I mean, if it's the same night, I mean, was there was never any talk of. Yeah, because the Pacquiao fight's supposed to be at the MGM, right? At the MGM Grand, something like that. I mean, I could see there being, different philosophies. No, we should do it the same night as a Pacquiao fight. That makes sense for some reason. I mean, maybe somebody can make that case. Or the other, no, we want to stay as far away from that as possible. Let's do it in LA. And maybe there's just a lot of politicking going on.
Well, I could see the case be made to have it in Las Vegas, but the day after, because people are coming into town for the fight. Probably, maybe they'll stay an extra day, go to SummerSlam. I could see that case be made fairly easily.
Yeah,
having it the same day in the same city, I don't know.
So here's my thing. I don't understand that either, but I guess it's because they've already announced the date. Like. What's at that point? I mean, is it just? I don't know. I mean, is it they have the date, they want LA because they don't want to be in Vegas, but they have to wait for LA to clear it, or there's just two factions within WWE, and one faction wants LA, one faction wants Vegas. Pacquiao fight be damned. I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's all weird. Know. Who's Pacquiao fighting? Do we know?
Yeah, I don't remember the name, though. I don't really follow boxing much anymore.
Same. Anyways, let's talk about Twitch. Of course, tonight we'll be doing our live Smackdown recap on Twitch. And after that, we're going to be keeping one eye during all that on AEW tonight.
Got the TV right here.
Because it is the go-home for Double or Nothing. But it's kind of a soft go-home because it's on a different night. It's on super late at night for the East Coast anyways. And there's really kind of just one segment that's been announced anyways that might clue us in. I'm still kind of deciding on a Go-Go versus Cody. And that weigh-in might inform us in terms of what our predictions are. But we're going to be doing our Double or Nothing predictions tonight live on the Twitch after our SmackDown recap. So hang out with us. One person you can't see on the Twitch, evidently, at least for a little while, would be one Paige, former WWE Divas Champion Paige. So we heard about this story during our Impact co-stream Quizlemania Tag Team Championship celebration last night, but it seems as if Paige has in fact gotten herself banned from Twitch. Wrestling Inc. has some of the details, reporting that her stream was cut off while watching the movie Dumb and Dumber on her Twitch stream. So Twitch does allow movie watch-alongs via Amazon Prime, but apparently Paige was watching movies that were not included in Twitch's watch party function, hence the ban. Now, you might ask yourself, well, how long is she going to be banned for? Is it going to be permanent? Is it going to be temporary? Well, Twitch has a policy in place where I believe your first violation will receive you a 30-day suspension from Twitch. So hopefully she'll get that back because, we know there was a bit of a kerfuffle when the WWE was putting ban hammer on wrestlers Going to Twitch, she says, I'm going to do what I want to do. And then she went to Twitch, but she's learning you can't do whatever you want on Twitch.
Yes.
You can't push the envelope too much.
Yep.
Like they allow a lot. I've seen somebody with like 10,000 viewers watching clips, mind you, of 90 Day Fiance, which is a pretty big show. And they were fine. But if you're running entire catalogs of movies,
that could be an issue.
That's gonna and you have like thousands and thousands of followers and viewers and subs. That's going to turn some heads. And honestly, you're probably gonna ruin it for the people who are airing stuff, and being reasonable about it. Like, what are you thinking with that shit? I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. Especially when there is a function with Twitch where you can safely
there's tons
watch movies, and there's a lot.
There's tons of movies in the catalog.
Just was it last Sunday? I watched Steven Seagal's General Commander. That's there. Star Trek: The Motion Picture. That's there. There's a lot of movies on there.
Yeah, and if your subs have Amazon Prime, you can that they can watch along with you. It's a great function.
It is. It's pretty cool.
I mean, actually really cool. There's ways you could do that. I remember one time she watched, and this is a bit different, I guess. I know there's probably some actual technicalities and legalities, but I remember one time she watched the entirety of Fighting with My Family or Fighting for My Family, whatever that is. Yeah, it's about her family.
Her and her family, yeah.
She might have some sort of producerial credit on it. I imagine anybody who's going to, whatever the distributor it is, if they have an issue with it, maybe, it's like, oh, well, whatever. It's about Paige. She's watching it.
Yeah.
But like watching entire catalogs of movies, like you're just asking for more regulation on Twitch. And right now Twitch is a lot of fun because people can do, they can be a little looser with it. They can they can play clips of other stuff. I don't know, man. Dumb and dumber indeed. Anyways.
I don't know either. Let's talk about something exciting. Potential of Shaq coming back. AEW, who come down the ramp, say, hey, I'm the new guy. So during yesterday's NBA on TNT broadcast, Shaquille O'Neal was asked if he might return to the wrestling ring, to which he responded, soon. This summer. This is exciting. I thought he had a great showing earlier this year. Was it late last year? I don't remember when it was. It was great whenever it was. He did that table spot with Cody. Tons of fun. It seemed like he was training. He took it seriously. Had a really fun performance. I'm excited to see Shaq back in the wrestling ring.
I love Shaq. I think he's great. I don't want to see him anywhere near a wrestling ring again because I don't care about that shit. I want to see good wrestlers in my wrestling ring, man. That's what I want to see. I love Shaq. Have him manage Jade Cargill. He's a big deal, and she's awesome. And all these chumps coming up to her, asking her if they can offer their managerial services. I say no to that. Get Shaq Daddy to manage her. I don't want to see him in the ring.
Hey,
good wrestling. Yeah,
I'm the new guy.
I know who you are.
I love that commercial.
Anyways, a great commercial. He's wonderful. He is wonderful.
Shaq's great. Let's talk Impact. Impact's also great. We did our watch along co-stream last night on Twitch. Lots of fun, as always. Got to celebrate our Quizzlemania victory. It was great. Here's what happened on the show. So the show opened up with Sami Callihan dropping a promo. He's interrupted by Moose. They got some tension between them because Callahan's upset that the Good Brothers cost him that six-way match at Under Siege. So they have beef. Good Brothers come to the ring. Sami and Moose fight him off. We get our main event for later in the evening. Good Brothers versus Moose and Sami.
Those Good Brothers. Also, apparently, Quizzlemania tag team champions.
Yeah, we're only interim champs.
I guess so.
We got to beat them before we're the real tag champs.
Ew.
TJP and Falaba defeated Josh Alexander and Petey Williams. So
Who?
TJP,
Wait, what? Petey Williams?
Sorry, Maple Leaf Muscle.
Thank you.
So TJP and Josh Alexander, this is pretty exciting, have a Iron Man match coming up. However, it's on Being the Impact. It's not on actual Impact TV.
So we did get some clarification on this.
Oh.
The majority of it is going to be on Being the Impact. What is it? Is that what it's called?
Before the Impact. I think
okay, we just made that joke. Okay. It's going to be on Being the Impact. The climax and conclusion apparently will open Impact proper.
Gotcha.
So they're going to spare us from 55 minutes of chokeholds rest holds. No, that's going to be a terrific. I've heard great things about that match, sort of like people talking about it.
Yeah,
that were witness to it. That's going to be a terrific match. So I'm looking forward. Maybe next week we can start maybe our Impact stream a little bit earlier than normal.
4:30 maybe.
Yeah, 4:30. Yeah, we'll catch the last 45 minutes of being the Impact stuff.
Yeah. Then we had Rosemary Havoc, Tenille Dashwood, Rachel Ellering, and Jordan Grace defeated Kiera Hogan, Tasha Steelz, Deonna Purrazzo, Kimberly, and Susan. Violent by Design, they come out to address Impact. They are interrupted by Kojima making his Impact debut.
And who stepped up to Kojima?
Well, he stepped up to confuse Cowboy.
Yeah.
He challenged him to a match against all odds. And then confused Cowboy later on accepts.
Yes. Yeah.
Very
in the most NWA 1980s, like his voice, his face, it was made to be in the year 1986. I'm telling you.
It really was. It really was. Crazy Steve and Black Taurus defeat Johnny Swinger and Hernandez.
Yeah, Johnny Swinger ate the pin there. That was a bummer. Daddy.
That was a bummer. And then the main event, Moose and Sami Callihan. Could they coexist? The answer is no.
Wow.
They kept on kicking each other and stuff.
Dude, Moose gave Callahan a giant boot when he had I think Anderson, and I don't know, it was like a pile driver position or something like that.
Yeah, he's about to set up for a package pile driver, I think. Callahan eats Magic Killer. Good brothers get the win.
Probably more importantly, though, Brian Myers might be in a program with up-and-coming wrestler Sam Beal, because Sam Beal confronted Brian Myers. So
he wandered into the wrong room. One of the two.
He was looking for catering.
He's like, well, I'm here, so.
Oh yeah, might as well. I need a feud. What kind of Smackdown preview were we given today?
It's 2 items announced last week: Usos versus the Street Profits. Let's see if that match actually happens.
That's a unique surprise.
And then right before we started, it was announced that Ray and Dom Mysterio will be defending the tag titles against Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler.
So the Mysterios are definitely going to win this. I wonder if they're going to let Ray get like an actual pin this time, because Dom's been sort of carrying that team lately.
And it's going to be interesting to see if Dolph and Roode start to implode.
Yeah, that Uso stuff. The Uso stuff I'm really interested in. That's really quality stuff right there.
Yeah, it has been really good storytelling. Got a pretty extensive Dynamite preview. Orange Cassidy is set to respond to Kenny Omega tonight.
What do you think he's going to say? He's just going to do this? Yeah, like do the Batista
something
thing.
like that. He's got to put his hands in his pockets. Dark Order members Evil Uno and Stu Grayson taking on Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page.
Oh, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky are going to get some momentum before their huge Double or Nothing loss to Sting and Darby Allin.
Joey Janela taking on Hangman Page.
Page with that momentum ahead of his Double or Nothing win against Brian Cage.
We got a couple of celebrations. Celebration of the Inner Circle.
Good.
And I believe there's going to be a Hikaru Shida women's champion celebration as well.
That's cool.
They announced
2 celebrations in a single episode.
Yes. We got Miro defending the TNT title against Dante Martin. Darby Allin versus Cesar Bononi. And of course, what I'm anticipating to be the main event segment.
This has got to be the main event.
Cody Rhodes, Anthony Ogogo weigh in.
We have to start tracking how many contractual main event segments Cody is allotted per month, per quarter.
Watch, now that opens the show or something like
as that. Whatever, contractually speaking. Yeah, so where are you leaning right now on Cody versus Anthony Ogogo?
You know what? This is one of 2 matches that I may very well have to roll the dice on something, just anticipating what you're going to pick and doing the opposite. Go away and get that belt off you. Because I think if I just pick matches, it's sort of like, not to the same degree, but sort of like Backlash, where I kind of have a really good sense where I think all these stories are going. The problem is you feel the same exact way. So if we make the same picks, you keep the belt. I got to take a couple chances. So there's 2 matches I'm really focusing on, this one being one of them, that I might have to really take a chance on to try to get an upset here.
And may I take a guess at the other one? Is it the Casino Battle Royal? The Casino Battle Royal, you have a pretty good chance of stealing that because I'm telling you right now, I'm going with Christian Cage. That's my official pick.
Yeah.
But there's, what is it, 10 participants?
20.
Are there 20?
I believe so.
I mean, if you look at history, the Casino Battle Royal was won by Hangman Page, I think, first, right? Or was that the Diamond thing? No, that was the Casino Battle Royal. And then Brian Cage was, I think, he won the second one, right? And he was the vacant guy. He was the
wild card. Yeah,
the wild card. Wild card in this case. I mean, I'll probably go with Big Show, but again, that's probably just too WWE. If you take a good swing at a wild card and you hit it,
But still, if that's the problem with that, that's only going to be one confidence point. So I don't know if one confidence point is necessarily going to sway things,
One could, in this case, it could. Because the least number of confidence points I'm going to have are on the Casino Battle Royal and Cody Agogo.
Yeah.
Those are the only two that I'm not entirely sure on. And if you and I are thinking the same direction on all these other matches, all you need is to switch up.
There's one more match that I'm considering kind of going against what I think is going to happen.
It's not Miro, is it?
No.
Oh, it's the Young Bucks, isn't it?
Could be.
Yeah, it is.
Could be.
Yeah, Mox and Kingston could win those, but I think Kingston's going to eat the pin. But yeah, it would not shock me at all. Wouldn't shock me in the least if Mox and Kingston pick those titles up. So yeah. Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Hey, thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Please give this video a thumbs up. We definitely appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 200,000. We'll get there maybe in 10 years. I don't know.
Yeah, it could be.
Hopefully sooner than that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.